Oh, they look strange. Hi guys, Jay Smith here, down at Bury Golf Range in Suffolk, and today we have the Callaway Great Big Bertha Epic irons. They're the Pro. So you've got two models, so you've got the Epic Normal and the Epic Pro irons. The Pro obviously are driven towards more of the player, although there is some debate as to what is forgiveness, but different video. Right, I have got the luxury of having from 4 to gap wedge, I think I've got, but if I did that the video would be colossally long, so I've decided to go for 4 iron. 6 iron is normal because I do most of my reviews with 6 irons because that's a generalized club that people have to test, and a pitching wedge. Right, what I like about this pitching wedge is the fact that it's quite a rounded shape. It's not too big. I like this stubby blade length. It's not overly wide this way and long, so it's actually quite, I'm not going to say understated, because you can't look at the back of this club and say understated by any means. It is a very busy back to the club, but then again it wouldn't be Callaway and it wouldn't be Epic if it wasn't extremely busy in the back end. They've got this Exo-cage, these bars, very much so like they say in the driver. Whether it helps, we'll see. And then you've got the carbon at the back for the composite bits. Now I actually quite like the shape of the wedge and also the gap wedge as well. It's got the CF17 cup face, supposed to make a little bit faster ball speeds, etc. Do I really care how fast it goes off the face? No, I just want it to be consistent. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit some on GC2 and the simulator to see how consistent it is. This is a 45-degree pitching wedge, so it's a fairly basic standard loft for a pitching wedge nowadays. So I'm going to set it around about 139, I think. We'll go for 139 yards away, and then we'll just go for that pin. Right, computer is on. 139 yards away, GC2 on the floor. Let's see if we can hit a half decent shot into the green. I'll pop the simulator overlay on top so you can see what it looks like. Let's hit away. Slight pushy one. May not quite get there because it's a fraction, fraction heavy. What we got? Let's have a look. 13 feet away, about pin high. Wasn't too bad. I'm being picky with strike. Right, feeling straight away from the pitching wedge. I could definitely have feedback. It's forged, so you can definitely feel the forged feeling. Yes, you can. It better be forged, how much these things cost. But it gave you good feedback as to where you hit it on the face. I didn't middle it, and it still performed pretty well, as you can see on the screen. We'll go again and hit another one and see how we do the second time. A lot better hit that time. Let's see how that goes. Fraction left, but basically pin high again, 14 feet. A lot better hit that time though. Spinning up well. Now bear in mind these are range balls, but the good thing with range balls, when it comes to a range ball, I've said this before in other videos, and we'll notice it as soon as we get into the 6 iron and 4 iron, but with loft they perform very, very similar to a normal ball. So yeah, right. That was off the face that time. Feeling wise, that was obviously I hit that in the middle. Very soft. If anyone's hit a MP25, it's not like the buttery smooth soft like MP5 or JPX 900 at all, but it's still quite a nice one. Right, let's hit another one actually. That was very fractionally heely. Very fractionally heely. Go on, run out. Run out. Yeah, didn't quite, because I lost the distance because of the fact that I caught it very fractionally here. It's middle but fractionally heely, and that's when I'll start losing a little bit of ball speed when you do that. Now, yes, these have got strengthening bars across the back, these little Exo-cage things, and yeah, whatever. Are they forgiving? Right. I hit that just slightly off of centre towards the heel, and it did lose a little bit of speed. Now, bearing in mind, how far was that? 20 feet away. It wasn't a bad result for a not middled strike. So you can take that one if you call that forgiveness or not. There you go, that's the toe hit. That'd be interesting to see how that works. That'd be slightly out to the right and slightly toey. There you go. Right, well, I've tested both sides of the face now. Heel and toe, and also the middle. And they can only make it to a certain extent forgiveness. That lost about sort of 5 or so yards carry compared to the other ones. And you could definitely tell the slight toey strike. Right, let's hit one in the middle now, just to finish off. And then that's the last little bit of testing for the pitching wedge. Maybe a fraction left. I felt I pulled that one fractionally. Was it going to be? Yeah, fraction left. Decent strike though, just a fraction left. So it's 19 feet, pin high, but just off the left-hand side. So it wasn't a poor strike, but it was just slightly pulley. So what we're going to do, we're going to go reset the computer now for 6-iron distance, hit 6-iron, and see how that one performs. Right, let's have a look at this 6-iron. Now this 6-iron, what I like about this 6-iron now, and all the irons in the Epic Pro at least, is the fact it's got quite stubby blade lengths. So the blade lengths now are, some clubs I get a bit too long. That's for my eye personally. You might like a long, it's just for me personally. I just don't like having a too long a blade length. I like it looked quite stubby. It's got a nice thin top line. It's quite rounded around the bottom, around the toe, and it's actually I quite like it. Now again, with the background, the more I get used to seeing this background, the more I look at it and I think, it doesn't bother me. At the start I looked at it and I went, ooh, yeah. I'm actually starting to like this now. Again, we still go with the Exo-cage with the bars at the back. There's loads of tech. I mean, Callaway are trying to, like they did with the PXG tried to make the best club they possibly could do and just throw loads of money at it. And no different to the Callaway Epic. They've done the same thing. See if they can make this thing as good as anything else out there. So right, we're going to go hit some on the simulator with my 6-iron and then go see how well it actually does perform. Right, now we've changed the computer. We've popped the yardage back a little bit now. Now this is a 27-degree 6-iron. The pitching wedge you saw there is 45 degrees. We didn't really going to be seeing too much difference between the pitching wedge on a range ball and pitching wedge on a real ball because of loft, etc. Now we're starting to take loft off, so we're going to have to start thinking about how we pop this one back. So I'm thinking these are going to go further than this, obviously, with real balls, but I'll pop this back now down to 180 yards. Now it's still, remember, it's still a 6-iron. So, I mean, 27 degrees, 180 yards with a range ball is a half decent hit. So we'll have to see if I've given myself a bit too much to hit, but we'll have a little whack and then see how it goes. Right, 180 yards. Let's see how this one goes. Right, well, that could be down it. Yeah, okay. 12 feet. I ripped that. Now, okay. These things cost a lot of money. We'll call it that. And okay, they have been given just obscene amounts of money just to turn around and say, like, let's just make something very much so like PXG. Make something as good as you possibly can. And bear in mind, they can only do certain things with laws of physics. Also, they can only do certain things when it comes to the laws of golf, the RNA, USGA. They control what can and cannot be done. So they've only got a certain thing to play with when it comes to CG placements and these little bars at the back, etc., because it's all governed, remember. But saying that, that felt absolutely lovely. Now it should do, it is a forged iron. Let's not forget it is a forged iron. And I'm starting to really enjoy hitting these. Do I enjoy hitting these as much as they cost? Probably not. Are they going to make, the amount of money that they are they going to make that much difference to your game? No. Well, not going to make a difference to my game anyway, but let's have another one. See if I can rip that one like I did the last one. It's going to be slightly further left. I pulled that. It's a shame. Hit it well, but I pulled it, as you can see. God, that's flew. That's what happens when you get a slightly closed face. Where's that one? That's 40 feet. That's not very good. That's 13 yards left. That was a pulley one, peoples. But you keep them all in there, good and bad. Now, feeling-wise, it was lovely. I just had a slightly closed face. And that's why I got the little pulley draw one. But, I mean, that's carried. Yeah, all right. So we can, let's try and replicate the first one, not so much the second one. I think I've done it again. I tell you, that feels lovely. That really does feel gorgeous. Little pulley one again, but that's carrying all the way. That's going too far. That's 30 feet, but that's past the pin. So it's not as bad as it, I mean, okay, that's probably 20 feet left, but that's a good 10 feet or so past. Do I need to push this back a bit? These are range balls. Wow. Okay, spin. These range balls spin more, bear in mind, and launch lower. Now they definitely do launch lower. That's launch at 13.5, which is just crazy low in real ball terms. So you can't, but that's spun up at 6.2, so that's done the old climb, but that's really got out there. Tell you what, we'll hit one more, because I enjoy hitting this 6 iron. I kind of wonder what the 4 iron's going to be though. 27 degrees is the 6. I've done it again. Little pulley one. It's not bad though. 3 are basically on top of each other, give or take. 21 feet. Good shot. Bearing in mind, guys, we are hitting a golf ball. In this case, it's 180 yards and a little bit. And that's not bad a shot at all. You've got to be a bit more forgiving to yourself, peoples. Even when you like hitting 6 irons, etc., don't expect you're going to pin it every single time, because you won't. So, there you go. Let's go and do the 4 iron now. Yeah, this might, when it gets a little bit scary. Let's go with the 4. All right, now this is the 4 iron, the tiniest one. Look at the size of that head. It is tiny. I'm now starting to get used to the back of it. I actually quite like it now. I'm starting to get used to it. I wouldn't say I love it, not at all, but it bothered me to start with. Doesn't bother me now. I'm getting more used to hitting it and seeing it. It's got a lovely little stubby blade length, very thin top line, thin sole. I like it. I can't really say anything apart from the back being a little bit busy. I'm starting to get used to it now, but let's see how it feels. We're going to hit it on a GC2 on the simulator. Right, 4 iron time. This is when it does start looking very small, especially with that shaft as long as it is away. This is 21.5 degrees. Now, in any old school person's book, that is a 3 iron. So, yeah, when it comes to getting fit for these, if you ever do decide to go get fit for these obscenely expensive clubs, you may not need a 3. You definitely, well, when it comes to a 2 iron of yesteryear, even 1 iron, they're getting so de-lofted now. Even 1 irons from like many years ago, equivalent to what 3 irons are nowadays. So bear in mind, don't have to worry about getting 1 and 2 irons on these things. Right, this is starting to get slim now. Nice slender top line. I like this. Now, what I've noticed now is, as my ball position goes slightly further forward with the 4, just to encourage a little bit of launch, these are quite slender. they are quite slender when it comes to the soles. They're not thick at all. But because the blade height is tiny, is not very big whatsoever, it is quite small, and also with the thin top line, I'm starting to see a little bit of the back at the back of the club. I can see a little bit of the back end of the club. Let's get this 4-iron going. Let's see if we can hit a half decent 4-iron shot. Oh, I think that's going to go off to the right a little bit. I think I faded that off. I think I did. I felt that come across. That's a leaky one. Oh, I tell you, that's pin high. Pin high, but 39 feet. I don't think that's going to win any prizes. But pin high. But then again, we are hitting something 196 away. Now this 196 with a range ball. It would be further when it comes to a normal ball. But let's see if we can do a better job at hitting target. Just slightly leaked off that one, did? I think I've overcompensated. That's it's going left, peoples. Yeah, that's going left. That is gone as well. Oh my word. You don't want to know how far left that's gone. Wow. I didn't even see what the total distance was on that one. For a range ball. Okay, right. Let's get a happy medium in between. Because that felt lovely, but just a little bit closed face again. Better. If I would say it's a fraction low on the face, 1 groove low, but pretty good. Yeah, I'd take that all day long. Stop. Whoa, whoa. 17 feet. Yep, you take that one all day long. That's more of a normal shot rather than the first one was a little bit of a slashy bit. The second one was a little bit overcompensation for the slashy one, and the third one was all right. There we go again. That feels lovely though. Even the 4-iron feels. You gain a lot of feedback from this. I could tell I hit that like literally a groove low. Right, let's go hit one more. See if we can hit target. That's going to leak off again, I think. Good shot. It's just leaking off a fraction. But then that's what my long irons do. They do have a tendency, as I'm pushing them further up in the air, what we've got 14 feet. Yeah, that's not a bad shot at all. But as I push my ball position further forward just to encourage a little bit of launch, I understand that obviously my path being fairly neutral at my low point, I start to exit up and left, and that's what encourages the path just to push a little bit further left and gain that little bit of cutting action on there. But still pretty good. So we've had one semi-poor one right, one definitely poor one left, and then a couple of nice decent shots. I like the 4. I need to have a look at the numbers when it comes to a real ball data to actually see if it's functioning how I'd like it. It is a very strong 4. 21 degrees, same as my 3. So I need to know if it's getting enough height and stopping with descent angle and spin. Now obviously I can't look at GC2 and see the numbers because obviously they're range balls, so they spin a bit more. But what we're going to do now, we're going to hit some with my game ball Vice Pro on GC2, and then we'll see how the actual numbers marry up. Right guys, numbers time for the Callaway Epic Pro irons. Now I really did enjoy hitting the irons, obviously, when it comes to the simulator. When I got onto GC2 and my Game Ball Vice Pro, bash, 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 bash. Do you know what? They felt lovely. The more I got used to hitting them, rather than just sort of like hitting a few, swap over clubs, hitting a few, swap over, the more I got used to actually hitting the same club over and over and over again, I actually really got into the groove of actually hitting these, and I actually quite liked it. All we'll do is we'll go to pitching a wedge first. I hit a batch of shots because everyone likes a larger data set. Everyone wants a larger data set. So that's what I did. Rather than having sort of like 6 shots or whatever, I just thought I'd go yeah, what have I got there? 8 or 9, something like that. 9. Right. I had one shot in there that dropped down to 98 miles an hour because of a misstrike. I am not a robot. I do misstrike. And that you can see when it comes to distance, that's why it's dropped down. But let's have a look at the averages. If I take out my misstrike, just going for the moment, 102 miles an hour, 24.8 degrees of launch. So these clubs do launch it slightly a bit low, but they are, I say they're de-lofted. They're a standard, the pitching wedge is 45 degrees. It's a standard loft nowadays for a pitching wedge. Mine's 47, so I'm used to having a little bit more loft, but hey. 0.6 right, 2.4 left, little baby draw, 7.3, 7.3, so 7.4 spin. Now that actually is quite low for a pitching wedge. I'm expecting sort of a pitching wedge in and around the 9,000s. My club's MP57s, again, okay, the loft is 2 degrees weaker, so it will produce more spin anyway, because spin loft increase because static loft is 2 degrees more already. But it's 7.4 spin, 7.3, 7.3, up at 32, that's fine when it comes to peak height. Descending at 50 degrees, that's going to stop and that will spin. So that's descending 50 degrees, not too bad into a green, spinning up at nearly 7.4. That will have enough a bite to stop easily and have a little bit of pullback as well, 1.34. Now, as I say, these are 45 degrees. My 9.9 is 43 and I carry that 136. So it's actually getting very close to my 9.9, even though it's even few degrees weaker than my 9.9. And the reason is the spin. It's dropping the spin off. Now, 1.3 yards off target. You can see there that my worst one was 5 left and 5 right. So what's that? 15 feet left, 15 feet right. Not too bad. Got a few right on the button. But you can see that when I misstrike it, it went from my furthest one was 137, hit 137 a couple of times, 136, 132, 13, if I take the 127, 134, 137, 132, 132. It's fairly consistent until you don't quite catch it. And that's the same with any club, regardless if you've got strengthening bars or anything, or composite, doesn't matter. You can only make a certain club a certain amount of forgiveness level, if that makes sense. There's only certain things you can do with laws of physics, and there's only certain things you can do with the RNA and the USPJ will allow. Right, not too bad though. Let's go to the 6 iron. Right, now here again, another batch of shots, a good like 10 or so, and hit these quite well. I do like these clubs. The feeling you get from these is lovely. I would, if I had to put a simile to it, I would say it's like the MP25. It's not buttery soft like the MP5 or the JPX 900 Tour or the MP4, anything like that. But it is very, very nice to hit and it feels gorgeous. Now, you could say that you're going to spend that amount of money on a set of clubs. They ought to. And you're right, they really should do, because obviously they are very, very expensive, but they did feel lovely. Right, we went from 129 to 121 on my strike alone, average of 125, 17 degrees of launch, 0.5 right, 0.8 left, basically straight. So again, that's right in the middle of where I'm hitting straight. Anything we go sort of 5 and 4, I generally start doing little fades. 4.2 spin, so 4197. That's getting low, so I'm starting to worry about how. But it's going 33 yards in peak height, which is actually pretty good. If you look at some other, say the JPX 900 forged, that's same again, 27 degrees of loft. I struggled with that to get that up anywhere near 30, and this quite happily went up to 33 without me even trying to manipulate flight whatsoever. 44.7 degrees, 45 degrees of descent angle. Even with only 4.2 spin, that will have a chance of stopping. And let's not forget 188 in yards. That is a long, long way. And 0.3 when it comes to the offlineness. Now, bearing in mind, I hit there quite a few shots, and I went from 181 was my shortest to a grand total of 190. I hit 195. Wow. That was a poly one though. That was 11 yards left. So that was gained purely by closed club face. You can see loft down at 15.3, closed club face, 129 ball speed. That's the reason why I went further. But still, if you take that one out, because that's a little bit out thing, you're looking at 187. It makes no difference whatsoever. It is, yeah, it's out there. It really is. 188 is further than my 5. Now, bearing in mind these are the same loft as my 5, and the reason why it does that is because of the spin. Mine will always, my 5 iron generally goes up to about sort of 5,000, and this is why this one outperforms it, just purely because of the fact that it's not quite spin as much and it will go further. Right, 4 iron time. This is where it gets a little bit scary for me. Right, hit some shots. What was there, 8, 9, 9? Something like that? Something like that, yeah. 132 ball speed, decent ball speed. Bear in mind, 132 miles an hour is similar to what some people get with their 3-wood. So yeah, 14 degrees, 13.9, again launching a little bit low, 0.1 right, 1 left. I was having little tiny pulls with this, little kind of tiny draws, but 3-3 spin, 3297. That is getting low now. 3297, I hit that with my 3-wood. 29.3, getting a little bit low. 39.8. It's not descending steep enough to have even the slightest chance of stopping on the green stuff. 208 yards carry. Now, I hit quite a few shots there, and as you can see, going left and rights, that is me. I range from sort of basically going 0.1, hitting the bang on target, to being 16, 2 right and 13 basically left, and that's me. So if you had a robot doing this, well, you're not supposed to, okay, we're human beings, we need to be testing this as human beings, and hence the reason why you get dispersion. But to be fair, from a 4 iron that launches it the way this thing does, that's not half bad. The lowest number there was 199, going up to 214. That's a long way for a 4 iron. I mean, that's way past my 3 iron. But then again, it's 21.5 degrees, which is basically the same as my 3 iron loft. But my 3 iron generally spins slightly more than what this does. But then again, it's a very good performing. And if you're not going to be hitting a 4 iron thinking that you're going to be getting massive amounts of height and then coming in and it's literally going to stop like that. It's not going to happen, generally. I quite like that club. Now, the owner of these clubs delivers completely different numbers to me, and I am someone who delivers more shaft lean when it comes to delivery. I am someone who delivers the handle slightly in front of the head. Now, the gentleman whose clubs these are, one of my subscribers, very kindly gave them to me to test. He doesn't deliver that at all. He delivers a lot more shaft neutral, so his hands aren't as far forward. They're not back, but they're in line with the head. So he's delivering slightly more dynamic loft at impact than me. And his numbers, because of that fact, with these clubs, transform completely. So this is important why you should get custom fit, because everyone delivers differently. But where on this set of irons, as lovely as they are, and I do like the feel of them, anything around the 6 iron and plus, especially going to the 5 and especially the 4, becomes non-functional for me to use, because I've got no chance of stopping it at the other end, because it's just not high enough with not enough spin. Now, the gentleman whose clubs these are, whose delivery is a lot more, so we say shaft neutral, being producing a lot more, he's like 5 degrees, give or take, higher launch per club than me. So I mean, he's getting that up there and with peak height, and he's spinning it slightly more. Now, he may not quite hit the ball at quite so far as I do, but he's got so much more chance of stopping it because of his delivery. Now, when it comes to his short clubs, yes, he does suffer when it comes to a little bit of distance control, etc. And he is a bit more shaft sensitive than me. But from just that alone, to say that these clubs don't work is wrong. They do work in the right hands. Now, his hands, when it comes to delivery, because he delivers that shaft neutral and he gives quite a decent amount of dynamic loft at impact, and getting it up there with some spin and also some height, his descent angles make it functional for him to use. So don't just go by from what these numbers are. Go test yourself. If you did think you're going to be in the market for these obscenely expensive clubs, like the PXGs, etc. But it does seem to be a going trend at the moment, having expensive equipment. I'm not really following it, but that's the way it is. Then do give these a try, because they do feel lovely. They perform brilliantly, or they should do, considering how much they cost. They look pretty good if you can get the backs. If you can get past the back, just the look of the tiny little stubby head of the Pro looks great, feels great, performs brilliantly, just costs way too much. Hope you liked the video. If you did, click the like button below. Subscribe if you can, because it helps the channel. And yeah, click the old button down here to subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.